Hi everyone and welcome to Africa channel. Please, if today is your first time, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for more notifications. And today's headline has to do with 18 persons that had been killed by Nigerian policemen. And please drop your comment below on what you think, because I believe everybody has his or her own opinion. And before I drop or I leave you with the videos, um, I would like to drop my opinion before I leave you with the video to watch. And from what I can see is, these people, they are Africans. Nigeria, South Africa, Zimbabwe, name there. Around that places, they are Africans. And these people, they find it hard to believe stuff like this. When you tell them about coronavirus, when you tell them about quarantine, when you tell them about isolation, they find it difficult to understand what these things are, you know? So for you as a policeman or an army, and you meet people like this on the street, you're not supposed to just come down and ambush them, and then the next minute you start beating them up because you've been given the authority and you have the power to do that. It doesn't work that way, you know. At least the least you can do, first of all, when you meet someone, the government said stay at home, and then you find someone on the street, before you walk down to the person and start beating the person up, the least you can do, first of all, is ask this person, didn't you hear that the government said you should stay at home for 14 days? And then when the person should be like, okay, I heard, but I'm going out to get food, I'm going out to get medicine, I'm going out for one or two things. If it's reasonable, you can be like, okay, fine, but make sure this thing doesn't repeat itself. It's important. You have to stay home for your safety, to protect yourself and the lives of others, Make these people understand what it is, what is going on out there, and the main reason why they should stay at home. And not just go to them without asking why they are outside, and then the next thing you start beating them, and then you beat them to death. You can imagine the number of people that has died in Nigeria due to the you can imagine the number of people that have died in Nigeria due to COVID-19, and then imagine the number of people that has died in the hands of policemen. Like, just imagine. It's not supposed to be like this. We ought to protect each other right now. This is the time we need each other the most, and not killing ourselves even before the epidemics end us all. Oh, anyway, like I said, please drop your comments. You leave your opinion. What do you think? Are these people doing the right thing because you've been told, hey, whoever you see out there, just do this and do that? And then the next minute, I'm sorry about that. And then the next minute, you just go on the streets, you see. What do you think about it? Please drop your comments below. And yep, I'm going to leave you with the videos to watch. And please don't forget to subscribe. Click the notification button.
Sam Olukoya has more.
The report by the Nigerian Human Rights Commission shows just how poorly the Nigerian security agencies performed in terms of enforcing the lockdown. They killed as many as 18 people during this period, whereas we lost 11 people to the coronavirus. A number of security agencies were held responsible for this. We have the Nigerian police, we have the Nigerian army, we have the Nigerian Correctional Service, and then we have a task force called the Ebonyi State Task Force on Corona-19. So far, none of these agencies have responded to the report by the Nigerian Human Rights Commission. The Nigerian government also has not said anything. And for many people, this is quite dangerous if security agencies commit atrocities and neither those agencies nor the government make any response. It means they will have gone with that impunity of carrying out these atrocities. And what we've seen so far is that after this report was released, we've seen more deaths. More deaths have actually occurred which were carried out by these security agents. And I think the lockdown might still continue for a long time. And the fear will be that while Nigerians are scared of the coronavirus, at the same time, they'll be feeling scared of security agents who might ultimately shoot them in the course of enforcing the lockdown.
Now, staying in Nigeria, more tragic news today as it emerged that a fire cost the lives of 14 people in the northeast of the country. The blaze took place at a camp in the town of Gamboru, that's close to the border with Cameroon. The camp houses some 70,000 people who have been displaced by jihadist violence. Fires are not uncommon in the dozens of camps across the region due to cramped living conditions and embers from open-air cooking. Now, more than 1 million coronavirus tests will be rolled out as of next week in different parts of the continent. That's according to the African Centres for Disease Control and Prevention. The agency added that up to 15 million tests may be required over the coming months to assess the true extent of the propagation of COVID-19. Experts have said Africa is weeks behind Europe and the US, but the rise in cases has looked similar. Now, as part of South Africa's confinement measures, alcohol sales are banned until further notice. Liquor stores in Gauteng province have demanded the restrictions be lifted. Some are even threatening to take President Cyril Ramaphosa to the Constitutional Court over the issue.
At the hospital in Mitchells Plain, one of Cape Town's biggest townships, there are fewer patients than normal. This is just as well as it has allowed the staff to concentrate their efforts on coronavirus testing at this new centre. The lack of patients in emergency services is partly due to the ban of alcohol sales as part of the country's confinement measures.
It's not all about the interpersonal injuries, but also it's how it impacts on existing chronic conditions. Because when we have the diabetes, the hypertension and all of those, it aggravates and also results in further complications. But when you ask me, it's obvious. We are excited that there's no alcohol that is happening.
While health workers are happy, others are clearly frustrated, as these images show. Around 20 liquor stores have been looted in Western Cape since the start of confinement. A local black market has also emerged, according to the police. Authorities have roundly condemned the looting, but are otherwise delighted at falling crime rates.
For the weekend, there was something like 5 murders, which is like unbelievable. Because normally it's literally 60 to 70 murders a weekend.
Some professionals, including those who work with people suffering from addiction, take issue with the ban. They say a cold turkey approach can be devastating.
We have a shortage of psychiatric services as it is, and there's been no real effort made to help people who had sudden withdrawal of their alcohol. That actually increases their stress levels. And one thing that stress does, it suppresses your immune response. So we've got a virus that's going around, and this policy is suppressing the immune response. That's what it's doing, because it's putting people under even more stress.
The South African police have asked sellers to get rid of their stock to avoid further looting.
Now, Tunisia's economic outlook was already on the verge of crisis before the current emergency, and indeed lockdown has not helped matters. Informal work makes up some 40% of Tunisia's economic activity. Day labourers and others with precarious jobs have been affected by the halting of activities. The government has promised assistance to families that are affected by the lockdown, but in poorer neighbourhoods of the capital, Tunis, many residents find that they cannot respect the lockdown as they are required to leave their homes to register for state aid. And while waiting for that help, many are living hand to mouth.
For days, Tunisians have been coming to seek government assistance during the lockdown. 60 euros worth of aid. Many are in a precarious situation. They don't have bank accounts, so they have to go out to collect their cash. In this post office, civil society groups are volunteering to maintain social distancing.
We made a waiting system with chairs outside, so people could wait far from each other, with their number and their turn. We do that every day until the post office closes. If we hadn't done that, the offices might have closed due to the pressure of the crowds.
In local government offices, those who aren't already registered for social assistance have to submit a form. In just a few days, the municipal offices in Sidi Hassin, a working-class neighbourhood in Tunis, received close to 25,000 requests for aid.
These volunteers from civil society help us every day to sort, compile, prioritise, and then it will go to the regional office of the Ministry of Social Affairs, which will process everything.
While waiting for help, this district is feeling the emergency on every street corner.
عندوش لا زيت لا سميد لا حتى شيء ومن يدخل الحجر الصحي واحنا قاعدين لا خدمه لا ردمه.
Others who had been isolating at home, like this street vendor, have had to go back to work to make money.
فما واحد عنده راني فلوس ومززي راني وخارج راني باش يدور راني في المرض وكذا يلزق على المرض قال ما مر منه.
Whenever the police arrive to disperse people, everyone reluctantly picks up their goods, like in this fruit and vegetable market. It's a common scene in this neighborhood. Surviving lockdown is proving even more difficult for those who have no other choice than to work.
To Madagascar next, where there are increasing concerns about press freedom in the country. A journalist accused of insulting the president on Facebook has been detained by the police pending a trial. On top of that, a privately owned TV channel as well as two radio stations have all been put on notice for not respecting new government broadcasting rules. The NGO Reporters Without Borders has called the moves unacceptable. Gael Borgia sent us this from the capital, Antananarivo.
It has become more and more difficult to criticize the government since the beginning of the epidemic. It's the first time in 5 years that a journalist is put in pre-trial detention. Arfin Rahel Sua is a 52-year-old editor who is accused of insulting the president after a publication was posted on her newspaper's Facebook page saying Anji Radzweln killer. She was summoned by the police the following day and put in pre-trial detention. Her lawyer accuses the authorities of hounding an opposition journalist, but the authorities deny it, saying it's not about her being a journalist, it's about her being a Facebook page administrator. Reporters Without Borders also condemns the disturbing sabotage of a TV station coming shortly after several opposition media outlets received a formal warning from the Ministry of Communication about their coronavirus coverage, including their failure to provide live transmission of state media's news bulletins about the pandemic. The president's chief communication officer justifies those measures, saying freedom, including press freedom, can be restricted because of exceptional circumstances and the state of health emergency.
Okay, that brings us to the end of this edition of Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching.
Aïe, bastard! Stop-le! 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 Aïe, bastard! Aïe, again. Move! You jerk! Tu sais, na play. That iska, you think na play. Aïe, bastard! You think na play? Kuzuku waruku. Shege.
You know go roll. Roll.